Hey, it's Kimberlee and welcome back to my channel. I make videos on all things lifestyle on a budget and I'm so excited for this conversation that we're going to be having today. I'm going to arm you with some information that I hope will be helpful. I've been wanting to film this for a while, but when it was happening to me, I was so annoyed and angry that I couldn't film in the moment because it would have just been too much craziness. But I've had a couple months and I've seen a lot of people fall into this situation with their lease renewals and that whole process because this was kind of around the time that people started moving back into the city. If you've seen on TikTok, you'll see that people are posting how much their rent is going up and it is insane. It's like $600, $700, $800. I wanted to offer you guys some tips on what you can do to negotiate or to try to get something out of those building owners, those landlords, etc. This happened to me back in August and so I didn't know what to do. I was looking for information. I was reaching out to family members to give me advice on what I can do because I was shocked at what my renewal was. The first thing you just need to know is that you have to ask. Always reach out, always open that conversation versus just getting the renewal and being like, oh my God, what do I do? So first of all, just know that you do have space to reach out and speak up and voice your concerns or to actually start getting into negotiation. Now, I signed my lease from January to December. In August, I got a big letter from my management company. So this building is a management company as opposed to like just dealing directly with the landlord. The renewal price was going to be $22.50. For reference, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, what I came in as was $1,500 a month. Now, to further explain how I was able to do that is that originally this unit was $2,000 a month, but it offered 3 months free. But as I mentioned in one of my previous videos about NYC apartment hunting tips, which you should definitely check out if you're on this journey, whenever there's a net rent versus the gross rent, you can always try to ask if you can pay the net instead. And that's exactly what I did and they agreed. So instead of doing $2,000 a month and having 3 months free, I just paid $1,500 all the way through. So imagine my surprise when I see that I'm paying $1,500 and then in a couple months they want me to pay $22.50. I was like, this unit is not renovated, so it's definitely older and has a little like wear and tear and lived life in it. None of the appliances are new. And then also, if you've been watching my channel, giant construction came up a couple months in and it's still here. It's February of the next year and it's still here. So like I had said in those videos, I don't have a view anymore. I have a view of construction. There is some light that does get through, but it is not the brightness that I had, which is what attracted me to this place. So for me, having known those issues in my head, that's the first thing I did as my tactic for negotiation. I immediately pointed out the things that were wrong with the place or the things that were not what I signed up for, and I wanted to use that as a tactic to lower the rent. So the first thing I did was say, hi, hello, I haven't had a view since maybe a couple months after I moved in. There's been construction going on for majority of the year. The construction hasn't left and it's been very loud here. I've had like drilling and craziness all going on that has totally disrupted me living here. On top of that, I also pointed out that this is not a renovated unit. There are appliances that are incredibly old, flooring, bathroom, everything like that. I'm just pointing it out. So if we're trying to raise, in comparison to the other units here, I was like, this definitely doesn't add up to the price that you're trying to go up to. So that is my first tip for you, is to basically point out things that don't align with what you feel associates with that higher rent price. The second thing you want to do to counteract that is also to talk about what assets you bring. I pointed out that I pay my rent before it's due. I have never paid my rent on the day it's due. I want the management company to know, hey, I'm reliable. I've been paying ahead of time every single month throughout this entire year. You want that. You guys haven't been chasing me for rent or anything like that. So that is something that I wanted to bring forth. Have you ever had any noise complaints or anything like that? If no one's ever been complaining about it, you could say, I've been a great resident here and I've been very respectful of the place and yada yada yada, so you want to bring out the issues that you have at the place but also highlight the good things about you as a renter here, and you're just pointing out like, hey, you don't know what you're gonna get when someone else moves in here, but me right here, I'm good, so lower that rent. So after I did that, they came down a little bit, but still I wasn't feeling it. I was like, this can't work. So I'm still kind of panicking in my head. I was like, what do I do? My brother-in-law had an amazing idea, and I seriously think this is one of the best things ever that you can do to offer up to them, which is to offer to stay longer. So you make a price choose something that's a little bit higher than what you're paying now and say, hey, I can sign at this rate, but I'll sign for 2 years. So you're gonna have someone in that place and there won't be a vacancy for 2 years. Personally, when he told me that, I was like, oh my gosh, you can do that? You can say that? And then I was like, yes, I would totally want to sign on like that. That's 24 months of them getting money in their pockets. Now you can vary between, maybe you'd say, I'd be willing to sign a 14-month lease or a 16-month, whatever. I just went right in for the 2 years because I was like, I would stay at that rate. That sounds good. That's another tip that you can try out so that, again, you're starting the conversation, and also take note to what they're saying in response to it. Another thing that you can do is you can offer to re-sign early. So like I said, they gave me that lease renewal in August, even though I didn't have to really make a decision down till December. I'll sign right now at this rate, and then we don't even have to deal with this later on in the year. With those in mind, those are the things that you can use to negotiate to kind of help yourself along. Now back to my case, what ended up happening. Where we left off, I was offering the 2-year lease thing. They weren't budging on that, but they did come down again with the rate, and she was pretty firm too. We were like two bulls back and forth. Her final offer was like, hey, this is the rate that it was supposed to be originally. We're not gonna go lower than that. No to the lease renewal for the 2-year things, which I still think is a great idea, but they were like, heck no. It's New York real estate, so yes, you're gonna get some no's back and forth, but they came down, and they came down to 2,000, and there was no budging there. Originally, when she was doing the negotiations, they told me that I had to decide by the end of the week, and I was like, I was like, that is not enough time. Once you've done all your tactics, you have to decide for yourself. Am I gonna give up this place? Is there anything out there that might be better? Or am I gonna just, foot the bill and stay? In my case, what I used September and October was to apartment hunt. Lightly though. Anytime I went to any places, it was just like open houses. I didn't want to lead them on because I knew I had so many months, and there's no point in looking in September for something that you need in December. So I went lightly around. I checked the market. I knew that everything was going back up because the world was opening again. I wanted to see what the prices were in my area, and then I wanted to see what the prices were in other areas that I wanted to live in. I have a lot of non-negotiables, so I already know that I'm very picky, and what I want is gonna take a little bit extraness. I pretty much got so comfortable living in Manhattan that I don't really want to live anywhere else, period. I know I want an elevator, I know I want laundry, period. Going forward, I would love a rooftop because we don't have rooftop access. One of the places that I went to was 2 blocks from where I live because I wanted to see what was in the general area. I think the rate was gonna be $22.50, and I was like, well, let's just see. And it said it was a 1-bedroom. It was dirty and disgusting. I felt like there was dust on the walls when I was walking up to get to the apartment. Like, it was just a mess. There was a closed off area for a bedroom, but the living space, your living room was basically your kitchen, but like you only had like this much space to like put like a table. And then also there was a cockroach on the floor that was dead, and I was like, I'm done. The place I went to was the Upper West Side. Loved to live over there. I think it was like 70s or 80s. That one was like, I think just under 2,000, so maybe 1,900 or so. Oh my God. I went in, and again, like no space whatsoever. It was like half the size of my apartment. I walked in and walked out within 1 minute. I was with like a group, and we walked up, and I was like, all right, I'm good, thank you so much, like this isn't gonna work. I'm getting more here, and I'm paying less than what I would pay if I did have to move and go elsewhere to something that I was hopefully paying cheaper for, but I really wasn't gonna be getting anything better out of it. It was gonna be worse. Looking at the prices of the apartments now, I'm almost like paying like below market, but like not really, because I don't want to use that term incorrectly, but basically is so much higher for similar units and other places in the areas. Now, yes, of course, if I wanted to move to a different borough, yeah, I probably could have gotten like a 1-bedroom or whatever. If I can find the video, I'll link it down below. I don't want to post it because I don't have this person's consent. But on TikTok, this girl pays the same as me. She has a 2-bedroom in Astoria, and it's stunning. Like, one of the bedrooms is actually her office. She's got the living room. Then she has like her actual bedroom, and like, it's really, really nice. And I was like, she did good. I don't want to live in Astoria like in this moment in my life, but knowing that there was a 2-bedroom out there and you could really do so much, like, good for you. So I want to link it down below because I just think it's a really great video to just see all the stuff in comparison. But yeah, so that's what you'd have to decide. If you don't care about where you're living, go and get your bang for your buck in Brooklyn or Queens or way uptown. But if you do care, because again, for work and all that kind of stuff, like I'm right in a good spot for me, then you know what, there's gonna be a little bit of a higher price. So make sure you can afford it, figure that all out, etc. and then just go from there. For me, for this decision, I ended up staying. I'm very happy I stayed. I really do love this place so much. Those are my tips for negotiation. Once again, point out the good things, point out the bad things about the place, about you as a renter, then start going in and talking money and just kind of bringing it down and seeing how far you can go. But don't just get the lease renewal and just accept it unless you really don't care. But I don't think this video is for you. Yes, the worst thing that they can do is say no, but you start the conversation because they can end up coming down on it. Oh, someone I was chatting with on another video from the housing tips wanted to know my opinions on the affordable housing lottery and all of that. And I feel twofold about it. I used to apply for it when I was living outside of the city, but I think that you have a better chance when you finally do live in the city. So once I moved here, I started applying for stuff. But like I said, I want to live in Manhattan at the moment, so I'm only applying for those. There are some older ones that I have applied for that were in different boroughs, so I mean, if they call me, I don't know, we'll figure it out. I do feel, you know, back and forth about it. I'm curious everyone else's opinions as well. It's frustrating sometimes to see the income requirements because I don't necessarily feel like someone that's making over 100K needs to have an apartment deal. I'm sorry, like let's fight, I'm sorry, but I really don't feel like that you need to be offered like a cheaper rent. I feel like there are so many people that are well below that are struggling and that really could use that place. And so I get it, these buildings have to have a balance so that they're making the money, but if we could all just help the less fortunate out, like I would much prefer that. This is only for the buildings where I just see the higher ones, because I know that there's ones where it's a balance and they have like a certain percentage, whatever. I don't know what the amount should be or should not be. I can't speak for everyone. I'm also not saying that people that make 100K aren't struggling, but I just feel like there's more people that aren't doing that could use it and could use that space to literally lay their head down and sleep. Let's have a conversation about the affordable housing lottery as well down below. Yes, I am submitting Happy Apartment Hunting. I love talking about apartments and housing and all that kind of stuff. So let's have a conversation down below. The one thing that I just want you guys to take away from this is to please negotiate and feel like you can speak up about something, even if it's gonna be a no. You know, just have it in writing, send something out, and just get that dialogue going. That's my video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.